The stock market was the worst place to be today because everything went just crazy down. All the major indices, the Dow, the S&P 500, the Nasdaq, everything, especially the Nasdaq. The only thing we're up a little bit was oil and some other stocks. But here I'm just more interested to talk to you about YieldMax ETFs and the list that they have. I'm going to show you the ETFs that have performed well today and the old that have crashed massively. And there's this one ETF which is going to be reverse split very soon. But there's also a flip side to this ETF, because this ETF, if we look at the underlying stock, it seems to be doing well, or will be doing well in the future based on analysts. So you're going to see, and I'm going to show you, if you are a risk taker, maybe you'll be able to invest in this ETF and generate a lot of money. So first thing we're going to look is YieldMax. Right now they have 39 stocks or funds, and total asset right now is 9.5 billion. Remember last time I updated you on the total asset of YieldMax? They only had 60 billion, but now they have 9 billion. So they're becoming a little bit bigger, which is good. The more money you have, the bigger you're established now. If you look at the average asset, meaning of each ETF that they have, it's about 232 million. A 1 year return so far is minus 24%, but this return is just a price return. So if we combine all the ETFs without including the dividend, they have returned about negative 24. Dividend yield is about 50. This is an average, and of course average cost on each ETF is 1.1. Remember, most of their ETFs, they are 0.99, about 101. But also there are fund of funds like YMAX and YMAX, those are 1.14. So altogether 1.14, 1.28. So, but average cost is this one. So a little bit higher, but because the dividend yield is very high, about 50%. So even if you're paying the MER, you're still getting way bigger dividend than your cost of the ETF itself. So the first ETF actually did not budge, did not go down, which has about 110 million, is YBIT. And this is, of course, related to crypto, Bitcoin, of course. And this went up actually massively. It went up about 2%. And the price of today is $12.67. Fiat also, all the crypto pretty much, they did pretty well. Fiat is the opposite. It does short crypto, and this went up about 189. And Somo, this is also mobile. Of course, oil today went up, as I mentioned. We can see here is 165. Tesla was up. Dips, JP Morgan, PayPal, AMD, Netflix, YQQ, MSTY. This is a MicroStrategy. You see right now, this is one of the best performing ETFs. Right now is at 28. Remember, this came down at about 20, and right now is way up. And the yield right now is about 96%. The Netflix right now is 52%. And AMD, the yield right now, based on the last dividend they paid, was 106. Snowy, 32. Amazon, Biggie, all these were up. Now we are coming to the ETFs that were way down. The first one was Microsoft. Fepi was also down. GUI was down, feet was down, but they're like a pretty almost flat, not too concerning. There's one I'm going to show you. It's going to be the last at the bottom. This is like really, it did really bad, and that's kind of scary. And that's the one ETF I'm going to talk to you about. That there's maybe opportunity, or they might get split very soon too. You never know. But I'm going to show you the numbers, and you're gonna make that decision whether you're gonna buy or you going to run away from this ETF. So if we keep going, OT, which I made a video just yesterday or a couple of days ago actually, it went down a little bit. The price right now is 8. This is one of those ETFs that haven't performed really well, but the yield is very high. It's 127. If we look at Soxy, this is a brand new ETF, just came out not too long ago. It just paid the first time distribution just like last week. And this went down a little bit. Fepi, which is Facebook, is 51%. The price is 18. So Fepi is still on a profit if you bought this ETF from the beginning. Most of these ETFs, they're very close to where they started, about $20. The only one is very low is Ulti. And I made a video about this one, and I told you I mentioned that, it might be opportunity because this is a fund of funds. They can always tweak to make it come back. But the only one I have a bigger concern are the one that are the fund, one stock ETF, because you can't do anything. It just depends on the performance of the stock. But for this one, ulti, they can tweak and change and make it, different. If we look at the YieldMax is one of those ETFs right now. I'm going to make a video about YieldMax separately. YieldMax hasn't done really well. Remember, it was at $20. Even my profit right now, I'm down because my average cost is about 18. Right now is a 16, so I'm losing money on the price. But maybe if you look at the dividend altogether, I'm almost flat. But YieldMax went down about 1.63. And of course, it's been dragged down by, you can see majority of ETFs went down. So of course, most of these ETFs are included in YieldMax. So whenever they perform, they will affect this ETF. And that's why we've seen it hasn't done really well. NVIDIA is one of those ETFs that have done really well. Right now it's 21. But if you look at all the dividends that they distribute, guys, it's way, way up. The yield right now is 90%. If we look at the SMCY right now, 25, it's way, way down because remember, this one came out to $50. So it's a 50% down from what it was. Yield right now is only 39, so it's not that great. TSMY, this also is really, really down. Right now is 19. Also, it came out at $50. So right now it's 19. I mean, it's going to be reverse split very soon, this one as well. If we look at the Coney, that's just a way I'm thinking, but they might not reverse split. They might change the strategy, but I really don't think this stock is going to be saved right now. If we look at the Coney, this is one of the best one. Right now, the price is 12, but if you look at all the distribution that they've paid, because this is one of the highest paying ETFs, look at the yields, 152. So, I mean, it's down in terms of price, but if you look at the distribution, it's way, way, way up. Maro is one of those horrible also ETFs. I know the price right now is 35, but of course this came at 50, so you've lost about $25, and right? Is it 25 or $15, right, from where it started? And it was down about 3%. It only pays, the yield here hasn't updated, but it pays a little bit more than that, but it's still really, really down. Actually pays less because this is $50 stock, right? So the yield will be very low. If we look at the crash, this is the stock that short Tesla. Right now, this is 6, and this is one of the other ETFs that is on the cusp of being splitted because it's kind of hard to save this type of ETF unless Tesla crash massively, right? But I don't see Tesla crashing that much. Now this one is only 317 down. Palantir is one of the best performing ETFs. Right now is at 325 down. But the yield, it has very high yield, and it's 58. Of course, it came at 50, so it's still pretty good. One of the best performing ETFs. And I made I think a video before Christmas to show you 3 best YieldMax ETFs, and Palantir is one of them. I really have hard time to spell this one. AIYY, YieldMax AI Option Income Strategy. Of course, right now is $7. It came out 20, so this is one of the worst performers as well, right? But the yield is very high, and there's a big chance this ETF is going to be splitted very soon. Guys, this is all what I'm saying. I'm not saying they're going to be split because I've been saying this, but a stock like this, it's right because it's called one stock ETF because it does follow a stock particular. So if that stock doesn't do well, of course, this might be split because there's no way to save just like a fund you can tweak and twist, right? But this one, there's no way. The last and the worst one was MRNY. This is Moderna stock. And Moderna Biopharma stock. This is the worst. Right now is $4. It was at $20, of course, when it came out. $4. I really don't think there's any way to save this, but this is what I can see. I'm not saying that's gonna happen. But I mean, we've seen YieldMax right now is kind of keeping holding. Tesla, it's only one ETF that they did reverse split, but since then they haven't done any reverse split because I think they had a bad. But I really don't see this ETF being saved, and the reason is because first of all, New York Stock Exchange has regulations that, of course, if your stock is lower than what is supposed to be, especially $5, you have to reverse split to bring it above that because it's going to be viewed as a penny stock. And of course, it can trade on that. So if it stays for a certain amount of time, they have to split. So this is not a matter of if, but it is when, because if it stays like this, of course, they're going to get pushed by New York Stock Exchange to reverse this to bring the price at least above $5. So unless Moderna stock does well, and because it's an ETF that follows Moderna, there's a cap in terms of price appreciation. But that's just what I'm seeing right now, guys. Okay. And of course, DISO is, this is a Disney stock. It's just flat. It didn't do anything today. But I want to show you something. If you are a person who wants to take a risk and say, well, man, I really love this price because it came down. And there's a really good case to make here for MRNY that you might want to buy this. Look at the yield, it's 167. In fact, actually, it's more than that. If you look at my other math I did, I'll show you in a bit. So I just showed you the list of all the YieldMax ETFs and the worst and the best performer for today, and also in general. Let's go a little bit deeper on Moderna stock, which is MRNY. That this is a stock that the Moderna or ETF, YieldMax ETF is following, right? The price today is 35. It crashed about 16%. So it's pretty much what the Moderna stock did, is exactly 16%. But what I want to show you is one thing here. If you look at this ETF, analysts are predicting this stock to be going up. 1 year target is $73, right? But take this with a grain of salt. Of course, analyst prediction is not science. It's something that, of course, they look at the numbers, they say, well, this is the price is going to be. So if we go with the analyst prediction, so for me, I always do whatever price they tell me. For example, they say 73, I put about 50. That's the way I determine my own stock whenever I want to buy them. So if I say $35, if it goes to 50, that's $15. So it's not going to be that much, but at least there's upside. There's no, at all the websites that I've checked, all the Moderna, they're predicting it's like undervalued stock, but it keeps crashing, right? If you look at the 1 year, if we go here, we can see 1 year chart. See, it just, at one point, it was all the way up to 165 and then just crash massively, right? So I don't know if it's going to be saved. If they come up with the numbers or they come up with different type of medication or patterns that they can maybe reverse and make their stock go up, and of course Moderna stock, which is MRNY, will go up. But at this point, this is what we are stuck on. So if you are really bullish on this stock itself and you look at the analysts, whatever they say, and you think analysts may be right, then that's a big case for YieldMax MRNY Option Income Strategy ETF stock, because of course this also will be going up. At this time, of course, it's 416. So if it goes up 170 something, that's more than 50%. That means this is going to be $8. So $8, if you invested your money today, you're going to double your money. But one good thing about that is that, let's say, for example, they do reverse split, you buy a 4, whatever the split they do, you're still not going to lose your money. But what you do is just gain less share, and the price is going to be up to bring it to the highest price, whatever they want to have. The yield right now is 179. So I'm going to show you another yield. If you buy today, you're going to make a lot of money. Actually, you will be able to retire with just $50,000. How will you be able to do that? This is another slide I'm going to show you. Check this. I list all the distribution that they've paid so far from the time they paid, that was in December 13, 2023, all the way to today. So it's been a long time, more than a year. And if you look at the distribution average, they pay about 72 cents per share. If you take all the distribution they pay so far, which is $10.05, that plus the price of today, which is $4.16, is going to give you a price of $14.21. So if that's a person who has been reinvesting all the dividend, They take all the money. Of course, this is your price right now. You're still on a loss because remember it came at $20, so you still lost about $6. Now using our average of 72 cents, that's going to give you a yield on average 208. That's crazy yield, guys. That's a crazy yield, you know. If the stock doesn't go down, you're getting that yield, annual yield. So how much that yield is going to make you if you invested your money in this ETF? So we're going down here and we're going to look at $25,000 going to give you 51,000 a year. So meaning if you invest in this ETF $25,000 today, you'll be able to retire. Because I mean, if you live in a place like Montana or these other small states, Mississippi, whatever, not big city, well, 51,000 is like enough money. Of course you're going to pay taxes, so maybe that it depends on your account, of course. So that of course is going to get you a little bit less money. But 36,000, remember, is the average. 32, I think, it's just average income for a lot of Americans, right? But now if you put $50,000, that's going to give you 103. So even if you pay 50% tax, you're still going to get a lot of money. But of course, you're not going to pay 50%. Usually, the max you pay 30%. So that's still going to get you a lot of money, $70,000, and that's $8,000 a month. Guys, if you go all the way crazy to, I mean, with this ETF, of course, you're not going to put more than 100,000, right? And that's going to give you 207. That's crazy. I just want to show you that this ETF, I mean, this is how much you can make if you are an investor who wants to take a risk. So guys, that's all I have for today. I just want to keep you an update on the YieldMax ETFs, the list of it, all the ETFs and how much they perform, the top performer and the lowest performer, and main focus on MRNY and the danger that this ETF has. And I mentioned 4 ETFs that might get reverse splitted soon. If they decide to do that, we don't know if they're going to do that. So that's all for today. If you like this video, please make sure you smash that like button. And you don't want to miss this type of update, make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit that belly notification button so you can get notification whenever I release new video. And by the way, if you know someone that wants to receive a lot of passive income, that person, share with that person so they can also learn about investing and how they can generate passive income. Thank you. Till I meet again next video. Bye bye.